I'm Chef Alex Reethof bringing you back to the table. And today we've got tailgating on our minds. And there's great tradition in tailgating all throughout the country. And today we're going to show you a couple of my favorites in tailgating. The first thing we're going to do is Stromboli, which is a giant sandwich wrapped bread, and it's got some great ingredients in the inside. So we'll have some fun with the Stromboli. We're going to move on to a roasted garlic, roasted red pepper, goat cheese dip with fresh vegetables. Wonderful thing to have, very, very healthy to have at your tailgate. We're going to move on then to a calamari salad, because it's great to have a nice fresh calamari salad with fresh julienne vegetables in it, tossed with a vinaigrette. And then we're going to finish off with a double chunk chili that is just fabulously hot and spicy, and will just keep your tailgate on the move. Stay with us, because we're going to start tailgating as soon as we come right back. You know, nothing spells tailgate like a Stromboli. This is 2 feet of fury right here. So we've got this great sandwich. This is what we're gonna make today right here. And we're gonna turn around and try this a little bit later as we get this whole thing assembled. All right, so I've got all kinds of meats and cheeses and vegetables, and we're gonna make this right now. We gotta start out with a pan. I've got a little bread dough, and I've got some different variety of cheeses over here, variety of also lunch meats, and they can be any variety that you would like. We're gonna start out, I got a nice hot pan over here. I gotta make a filling. So I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to my pan, and it is good and hot, which is what we're looking for. I'm gonna add some onions to it. Then I'm gonna add some mushrooms to it. I've got some red jalapeno. I've got some, actually that's some sweet red pepper. And I got some jalapeno. And we'll just keep this moving. To this, I'm going to add some tomatoes. And we're going to render this down a little bit. Oh, this is beautiful. So I've got some garlic. And I've got some parsley. And I'm going to add a little bit of crushed red pepper to give us some good heat with all those heat seekers out there. I've got a little bit of kosher salt. We're going to add this in liberally. We're going to keep this tossing and moving. Doesn't that look good? Oh, it's a great topping for this whole piece. All right, so we got to move back over to our pan. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our dough. This dough, it's a standard pizza dough, and you can either buy this at the grocery store, because everybody seems to carry it now, already made and already proofed and ready to go, or you can make a standard pizza dough anywhere, and that's what I do. So all I do is I take this dough and I spread it out on top of my pan. I've got a sheet pan here. I've got a little bit of corn flour I'm going to put on. I'm going to spread this out, and you just kind of have to work with it, spreading it out. See if you can't get it corner to corner. And you just got to let it rest from time to time, because it'll start to tear on you. But it will give. It will let it go, but you just got to let it rest. Try not to stretch it or make any holes in it. And we're going to make this basically a base so that we can put all of our meats and our cheeses. And this would be absolutely delightful. You can make this anytime. It's really great working on this Sub-Zero Wolf cooktop that we have here at Guy T. Gunter's. He's so kind to let us work in his showroom. Here we go. We're getting out to the edge. You see how we're getting close? Starting to spread it out a little bit. And that's what we're looking for. So we're going to layer some meats and some cheeses on this. By the way, one thing I didn't mention is we are going to go on and add some olives into this. All right, so we got the olives in there. Good time to keep this moving around like this. Let that pepper come out. It looks real colorful. Perfect for that tailgating season. By the way, everybody in tailgating, you can let this sit for half a day and you can go to a game and come back. This is another thing great, just great to graze on all along. All right, so we've got this pretty much laid out. We're close to where we need to be. Now, what I start with this is I start with provolone cheese. And I layer it across the bottom on one side. And I put a nice liberal amount on this so that I can just lay it out here. And you'll see that it makes a nice little layer on the bottom. And so if there's any weeping going on with any of these things, the cheese will actually catch that so it won't get too soggy. And then I got a delightful ham. It can be your favorite ham. I got this ham at the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market. And then I'm going to go to a supersetta, which is an Italian type of salami, kind of a cured ham. I'm going to layer it across. And we're going to make a nice little fat layer. You can use anything you want, bologna, salami, turkey. You can do it actually with just the cheeses if you don't want to do it. If you want to do it vegetarian, it's very, very easy to do it that way. So, and then I'm going to go to a mortadella. Mortadella is a little bit like a bologna, but it has pistachios in it. So that's a nice little twist to this. And layer it on nice and liberally. You can put it on any way you wish for this. And I also have a hard salami, which has peppercorns in it. I like that because it adds a little bit of zip to it. That's for those heat seekers we have out there. And I know there's plenty of them. How about that? So we're all ready to go. At this point, I'm going to start adding a little bit of fresh mozzarella. I'm just going to have it, I have pre-sliced this. It's really simple. We just lay it across the top. All right. And I got a nice little layer there. I got some fresh Parmesan. We're going to layer that on. As you can see, I'm building a nice big sandwich, just like you would. Let me see what I got here with this. We're going to keep this flipping. Yeah, it's good. All right, looking good there. And I think we got some pretty good seasoning on it too. So a little black pepper in there. Oh, that's smelling wonderful. Oh yeah, we're there. All right, so once we get to this point, I got a little fontina cheese. I love fontina cheese, and I just take a vegetable peeler and I just give it some slices just like this. Very easy, very simple technique. And you know, if you don't have it sliced because it comes in a chunk, it's a great way to do it. You can put it on salads the same way. You can see it all comes off in nice big old strips, thin strips. This is an excellent melting cheese. Should always be incorporated in anything you melt. Should always add fontina. All right, so here we go. You ready to wrap this one up? We're going to make a big old envelope out of this. So our vegetables are soft. The mushrooms are cooked. Looks marvelous, doesn't it? So I'm going to take some of this, and I'm just going to put this on right like this. Put a nice little layer on top. Gonna look colorful. Well, we're going to wrap this up too. Put a lid on top of it. And we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to bake it for about an hour at 400 degrees. I'm going to put a little more cheese on top. You can't put too much cheese on, can you? Take a little fontina cheese we have here. Layer it across. I've already pre-sliced a little bit of this. It's wonderful stuff. All right, so I'm going to turn it this way so you can see how we fold it. So I simply take it and bring it on over. Try not to stretch the dough too much to the point where it breaks. And all I'm going to do is fold this under and pinch it. And that kind of seals it. If we need to, we'll take a little bit of our egg wash. We'll run it around the inside. And that'll help seal our dough. So it makes a nice big old pocket right there. And that's what we're looking for. So we're going to make this and just pull this under. And you're going to see that we're just going to seal this whole big old pocket. Got a little weak spot over here. So if you find that you have a little weak spot over there, all I'm going to do is make a little slice, right like this, right on the angle. And all we do is we just press down a little bit. That lets some of the air come out. Now we take a little egg wash over here, We're going to brush it on gently. I'm going to add a little bit of paprika on top, a little salt, kosher salt, and then we're going to put this guy in the oven for an hour. Got a little paprika right here. If you have a little shaker, that doesn't hurt. I'm going to add a little kosher salt to it. And if you want to put sesame seeds on this, that's another great thing you can do. You can take a little bit of Parmesan that I have left over here, and you can sprinkle it on top, and when it cooks off, it looks beautiful and how it darkens and browns. So, into the oven we go for an hour. So I got a 400-degree oven. We put them in for an hour. When that finishes, this is what we have. Like we called it, it's 2 feet of fury. So I've got a plate, and I'll plate some of this up for us. How do you actually cut this? Interesting. There's a couple different methods. One could be straight down through and then slices across, or I'm going to take it right through the middle. And look at this. Look at that sandwich right there. So what I'll do is a typical serving size would be right about here. And I'm going to lay it on this, right on this plate. And then I'll take another piece about the same size, because that is a big serving right there. This is for the hungry appetite at the tailgate right here. I'm going to lay it right across like that. So there we have, at your tailgate, Stromboli. I'm Chef Alex Reethof. Stay with us. We'll be right back, and we're going to do a roasted garlic, roasted red pepper, and goat cheese dip that will knock your socks off. We are on to a roasted red pepper, roasted garlic, goat cheese dip with fresh vegetables. Oh, it's a great thing to have. Listen, I want to introduce someone very, very special to me. And on our first date, we chopped an onion and I made her cry. This is my wife, Lori Reethof. Come on up here, Lori. Come join us.
Hi, honey. I forgot about that onion thing. That was funny.
You forgot?
I forgot about the onion thing.
Oh, gosh.
So
and that was the only time I ever made you cry, isn't it?
And that was the first and most important time you made me cry. So, what are we doing here?
Well, listen, we have to roast some red peppers. And we roasted 2 of them, but I thought we'd show how to roast another one. So, that is your red pepper to roast.
Okay.
So,
this is how I felt about you. Red hot when I first met you.
Oh, goodness.
And still do.
Now, what does a guy say to that? Huh?
Okay, let's go on.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is turn on our oven. You can go ahead and turn our stove. Turn on high. That's right. And then we got a pair of tongs here. You can pick this up and just put it on its side.
Ooh, just like.
And I know you've never done this before. You can put it on just like that. And we're going to put this now, just set it right on the grids.
Oh, it's, oh.
Yeah, now you remove your tongs and just let it go until it burns on that side. Then we'll flip it over and roast it on another side, and another side, and another side.
How long does it take?
About 4 or 5 minutes, but you hear some good snap, crackle, pop going on, and that's what we're looking for. All right. But listen, we also have to roast some garlic. So I've got a couple bulbs of garlic here, and we're just going to cut them through the equator. And I think over here we have a sheet pan. And if you bring that sheet pan over, we'll put this on the sheet pan, and we're going to put them in the oven and roast them. They do, don't they? We're going to roast them for a good 15 or 20 minutes until that garlic just looks. Put
what
a little
about
oil.
this? Does it matter if this is on here?
That's just the paper. Won't hurt a thing.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to put a little salt on it. Right here. I'm going to put a little salt on, and then we can just take it right on over into the oven. We got an oven about 400 degrees. Awesome. What a great helper. All right. So listen. What we have here, now we got to go into blending. As you can see, take your tongs and you can rotate that around.
Like how we blend so well.
We blend so well, okay. I know. You just
take the tongs and do what?
I also have syrup in this recipe. I forgot about that. No, go ahead and just roll that on its side. That's it, and we'll get that. You see the nice blackening we have going on there? That's what we're looking. You just leave it right there. until that side blackens. There you go. Is that the side you like? Good. So what I need from you now is to take these garlic that we already roasted before, and I just want you to press that in, and they pop right out. And I just want you to pop them.
I'm going to try that. Okay.
Just pop them right into that bowl.
I have seen you do this before, but I have never
While she does that, I'm going to take, we're going to do most of this in the food processor. I'm going to take this roasted red pepper, and I'm just going to peel some of the outer skin off.
Did I get it all out?
You did great. Okay. Yeah, you can toss it right in there. Okay. Yep, we got a great sink over here at Guy T. Gunter's showroom. And that's just beautiful how it shows.
Do you want me to do more than one?
Let's keep doing them all.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
More the merrier on that roasted garlic.
Okay.
The nice thing about roasted garlic is it's very mild and very creamy and almost buttery.
And if your partner's eating garlic, then you need to eat it too.
Oh, that's true.
But you won't be offensive.
That is so true.
Other.
Yep. All right. Good job.
Okay. Squeeze it, squeeze it.
I'm very impressed. We got some arms going here, huh?
Okay.
So I'm going to peel this because we can get it ready. And then once you finish all that garlic, you can throw it right in our chopper.
Okay.
And this roasted red pepper, see how that's nice and black on the side over there?
Okay. Is it time to take it off?
Now this is rotated around. Just rotate it around a little more. While she does that, I'm going to pull the seeds out of this, and it's going to go right into our chopper. I'll try to get some of these seeds off. Ooh, a little slippery, this guy. You can go ahead and take that off too. Yep. Kind of slippery.
This is much better than buying this already roasted, isn't it?
Well, you know, you really got a hand in the whole thing. You know, I agree. Just take the take that little piece off. Yeah, if you have a little of that black in there, it looks good too. So doesn't hurt that one bit. Now look, what we're going to do with this, put it all in the blender, and we're just going to blend it right on up. I'm going to take some fresh thyme. I'm going to put it right on in, and I'm going to just keep pulling some of this out, and just pull these little thyme leaves off. Oh yeah, it goes right in. Good earthy flavor.
We're going to have a good time with the fresh thyme, aren't we?
You bet we will. All
In
right.
no time at all.
In no time at all. I'm loving this.
Yeah, I just had to throw that in.
I know, it's just culinary time. All right, so I'm going to also take some rosemary, and I'm going to take a little fresh rosemary, put it in. Do you know rosemary?
I remember Rosemary.
You do.
Was she our first babysitter that we had for our kids?
I think she was. Matter of fact, that's a good memory you have.
Okay.
Impeccable. All right, so we could take that garlic and put it in here as well. I'm still working on this rosemary. That can go right on in. Dump it on in there, yep.
Okay. I give it a little tap to get it out at the bottom.
You're a natural with this, clearly. All right, then we have this goat cheese. I'll get rid of this. You want to take that towel and wipe your hands down a little bit?
That cheese is really bad.
You know, I think you're ready for Broadway.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to open this up and slide it on in. You want to do that?
Yep.
Great. Then I'm going to take some fresh basil leaves as well. So as you can see, this is good and earthy. And if you get some of the stems in there, it's okay. And now, salt, pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Put a little of this in there. We can always add more salt. You can't add any more. Can't take it away. We're going to put some cayenne to just kick it up a few. That's plenty. You don't want any more of that, do you?
Oh, it is cayenne.
It is cayenne. You didn't believe me?
I wasn't quite sure with that.
All right. So look, this is the
I've heard
magic.
about it.
All right. So this is the magic. We're just going to blend this whole thing all together.
We are making magic together. What you say?
Absolutely.
Whoa.
We're going to shake this guy. We're not real bashful about this, right? All right. You want to turn off our burner? Because I think our roasted red pepper is doing fantastic. All right. This is as simple as it gets right here. Do you want to give that a try?
Oh, I love that color.
The color is beautiful, isn't it? Nice little
It's like
pink
terracotta.
color. Oh, terracotta is even a better description. I should count on you for that. All right, one more little swip, and we're going to pull this out. We're going to give it a try. You ready to try this?
I'm absolutely ready to try this.
Okay, here we go. Coming out.
Should we put it in that?
I'm going to put it right in here. You want to
go.
do it? There, I got a little rubber spatula to pull it out.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me make your life easier. Let me pull that right on out.
I like how it's a little bit chunky.
It is a little chunky, you know? It's got some great texture, great flavor, and I'm going to move this off to the side.
That's good for here.
And so what I like to do with this is we'll set this on a plate with some Belgian endive, roasted fingerlings. These are Yukon Gold potatoes that are roasted with a little bit of garlic on them.
And that does look like a little finger.
It is like a little finger. So you want to give it a dip?
I would love to give it a dip. Let's do...
Here, I think you need to try this one.
Oh, there we go. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm going to feed you this time. What do you think? Is that a keeper?
I love it. It is perfectly seasoned. I wouldn't want any spice here. And I love the texture of it.
So there you have it. Made this with my wife, Lori.
And we had a great time doing it.
We have roasted garlic, roasted red pepper, and goat cheese dip. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The next thing we're going to make is calamari salad. It's light, it's fresh, it's refreshing. But here to make it with me is Chef Shay, my good friend. Come on board, Chef. Good to see you.
How's it going, Chef Alex?
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Hey, and this is our salad we're going to end up with. So
That's
I just
great.
thought I'd show everybody what we're doing here. And we're going to set this aside for the moment, and we're going to put it down in the refrigerator. How about we put it down here? And Chef, how about if you start with a vinaigrette, and I'll move on to some other ingredients, and we'll get some things going. So, you know, then we'll start combining forces.
Sounds
you good with that?
Sounds good. We'll put some
So
red wine vinegar in here.
Yeah. I'm going to cut this celery in a little bit of a Chinese style cut. So we take it flat, and we just kind of use the point of our knife.
So why are you doing it like that?
It just makes it a nice little cut. Okay? It gives you like a little U shape.
For
Looks
looks,
pretty good.
basically?
All for looks. It's all for looks. That's what we do things for here. No doubt about it. What do you want to?
I'm going to put a little lemon juice in here as well. Just add a little more acid to it.
Oh, that looks good.
Use
That
this
looks
great
great.
squeezer here.
Don't you love that acid? Now, you know, I'm going to take a little of this zest. Okay? We're going to peel a little of this off the outside, the outer peel. We like that a lot because that gives us tremendous oil, don't we?
Yeah, that'll add a nice flavor, nice brightness to the salad.
I'm going to take a little bit to that the lime. You okay with that?
Nice, yeah. I throw a little agave in there, which is a great substitute for sugar. I've got an uncle that's got a low glycemic index, or that's got diabetes, and agave's got a low glycemic index, so it's great for people with diabetic issues.
Excellent point. You use it in anything else besides your salad dressings?
I've started baking with it all the time now.
Now, how's the conversion on that?
It's about a 1.5 times sweeter than regular sugar. But it works, I mean, it really works just as well. You just got to take a little bit of water out of the dish because agave is a liquid.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than that, really, it works great as a conversion.
Well, that's a super tip right there. We're
got
going to take a little capers. How about that? We're going to throw a couple capers. I'm just going to do a coarse chop on that. By the way, at the same token, we got a little calamari rings over here. And the calamari rings are pre-blanched. So we basically dropped them in a pot of salted water that was boiling or to a simmer. And we cut these beautiful rings. And you can see them right here.
So you don't want to serve them raw.
Don't want to serve them raw. We drop them in for what, 35, 45 seconds? And then we drop them in an ice bath so we can chill them down right away, and they're nice and tender still, and it makes for a great thing. Yeah, just throw those in. I've got some Kalamata olives I'm going to chop up just real coarsely as well. And you can take the celery, because we already know we got some celery going in there.
Right.
That looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've got a little red onion that we've julienned. Kind of fine, real thin. Did a great job with that. And then I got a little bit of fennel. And this is a beautiful root that you can take that's very light and refreshing, and it's one of those great things that will actually help your breath. So it'll counterbalance some of that garlic that we put in here. All right, so we got that, and we got some tomatoes. Okay, these are beautiful cherry heirloom tomatoes. Oh, it's looking good. Wow, you love the color of this?
Right.
Yeah. All right,
Nice,
so I'm going to take this.
salad.
That's good news. That always makes it a lot more fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. Those Kalamata olives?
These are Kalamata olives. I'm just doing a real coarse chop so you don't get a big old mouthful of them.
Gotcha.
And we'll go ahead and put those in.
That'll add a nice salty taste to it.
Yeah. How about we give it a little salt and pepper? Are you good with that?
Yeah, I've actually put some in there
Did you
already.
put? All right, well, we can always
put it in
taste
the
it and see what's
vinaigrette
going on.
itself.
That's very good. Well, listen, this is what we have. How about if we take this one that we just made over here, and we can plate it up.
All right.
I think we got it in our refrigerator down below here.
There we go.
So we got a plate over here. And
I'll pull this out for
pull
you.
that out. You got a little spoon.
Here's the spoon.
What I'm going to take is a little Belgian endive. What do you think? You just put some leaves around it. You can
Yeah.
also eat it with this. This
I was
is
gonna
also a
say, you
vehicle.
could serve it as a almost a lettuce cup.
Oh, that's right. So we were doing what, lettuce wraps? Would you
Yeah.
call that a lettuce wrap? How about that?
Yeah, that'd work great.
All right, so I'm going to just put some of these around.
Great for appetizer,
Keep
like
on
for
going
a
there.
party or something, just finger food.
So I'm going to start from the bottom. Just put it right in the middle.
And are you pulling it up from the bottom to get the dressing all mixed into it?
It just helps to keep it all. Yeah, the ones on the bottom have been sitting there soaking and marinating for a little while. They got a little extra on them. So I want to make sure we get them all from there.
Great.
This looks good. I'll take some of the tentacles and we'll put them right on top.
Perfect.
Give it a great look. So there we have it. Chef Shea, thank you
Thanks
again.
a lot. Thanks
It's
for
always
having me
great
on.
working with you.
Always.
And we've got a calamari salad that's great and refreshing. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Next up, we're going to do this double chunk chili that you don't want to miss. So stay with us. For this recipe, we're going to do none other than my own double chunk competition chili. And you're going to want to watch this all the way through because it's fabulous. So we're going to start out with a little salt pork. I'm heating my pan. This salt pork is a cured pork and there's a little bit of saltiness to it, but it also has a good fat content, so we'll render that down. At the same time, I'm going to add a little bit of oil in my pan. It's already heating up, really hot. And then I'm going to move on to some of the other meats that we have here. So I'm going to take my salt pork, and it should sizzle pretty good. We chopped it up kind of fine. We're going to spread it around our pan. I'm just going to keep it moving here, just kind of spread it out a little bit. And we're going to render that down. We're going to let that go until it's almost crispy like bacon. Okay? So the next thing we have here is I've got chuck, beef chuck, that we basically cut up in chunks. And at the same time, I took ham, basically fresh ham, and I cut it up in chunks. And at the same time, I've also got this beef chorizo from the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market. They make it fresh there every day. And it's ground beef with a great level of spice to it. It's very low in fat content, but it's got great color, great flavor, good depth. All right, so I'm gonna go and just move this around a little bit. As you can see, we're spittering and sputtering a little bit. So I'm gonna just kind of keep it moving. And you can see this pan, it is sizzling. And you know, saute means to jump. It's a derivative of a French word. And we are jumping in this pan right now. It's a beautiful thing. So what I'm doing is I'm actually having the flavors of this salt pork seep into the oil that I have here, which we're gonna then add lots and lots of vegetables. And we're gonna render this all down. So we're gonna take some onions. I've got some poblano green peppers. They've got good flavor. They're pretty low on the heat scale, so those heat seekers are not really loving the poblanos, but they're awfully good in this dish. I'm gonna then have lots of garlic in this dish. And I've got tomatoes, and I'm gonna use a little bit of sugar, and I actually use agave today. And we're gonna use a little bit of enchilada sauce, and that's one of the key ingredients to this. So, as you can see, we're moving along here, and it's spitting up pretty good. It's a lively little pan we got here. I'm gonna add some onions to it. We're gonna let those onions render down a little bit. Right in with it. Oh yeah, they're gonna seep down. Ah, it looks great. Once they get going just a little bit, I'm gonna add a few more things, all right? So we're gonna start in with the chorizo, and that's gonna give us some great color, and I'm just gonna break it up as we put it into the pan. You can see this chorizo is just kind of nice, bright, almost red color. And we took the casing off of it so that we can have it like ground beef, just like a ground meat. It's got great, it'll add a lot of depth to the whole chili. Now, I've used this chili in some competitions years back, and we did all right with it. So, hey, you need to give it a try at yourselves. Chili's really easy, it's fun, you can only make it in large batches. There's no way to make chili in a small batch. So, I've got this big pot. We're here at Guy T. Gunter's showroom, and they've got this Wolf range top here that allows me to put this big old pot on here and let it go, because it really's got some power. So it's a beautiful thing. All right, so I got my chorizo in. We're gonna turn it around, just keep it moving. As you can see, most of all this is just keeping it going. High heat, we got it all rolling, and oh, the color's starting to come out, the oil's starting to turn a little bit yellow, amber color. It's gonna be awesome. All right, once we let that go just a few minutes, I got some bay leaves. And oftentimes people take bay leaves and the recipe calls for whole bay leaves. Well, I'm of the belief that if you take and smell bay leaves, and you can do this at home, smell them, they don't smell real strong until you break them open. And all of a sudden, oh, fragrant as can be. So, my philosophy is let's break up those bay leaves. I've never seen anybody die from eating bay leaves or even have any problems with it. So we're putting those bay leaves right on in. We're gonna get the most flavor out of the bay. I've also can add a lot of the different spices. I've got some cayenne pepper. I've got some oregano. We can sweat these. And I've got a little cumin right here. We're gonna add some cumin into it. I'm gonna add a little bit of ancho chili, which we went ahead and ground. I'm gonna add some garlic to it at this point. We're gonna let it all go in. Gotta get all that garlic out of here because you gotta have tons of garlic in this. We're gonna give this a good stir. Oh yeah, isn't that looking good? As you can see, it's still dancing pretty good. We got this pot really moving. And then I'm gonna kind of pull this out to the side. And I'm gonna put the meat right in the middle. And we're gonna let the meat cook right in the middle where the heat is and the flame is. So I'm gonna take some beef. I'm gonna put it right in the middle, kind of flatten it out, and let it sear. And then in a couple minutes, I'm gonna add some pork to it as we move it all out with our big old pan. I'm also gonna add some red jalapeno pepper. And I'm gonna add some of the poblano pepper. There we go. All right. We're getting some good color already going on. So this meat will actually sear on one side, and we're gonna get all the flavors melding in together, as you can see as I stir this pot. All right, here we go. And they're gonna start secreting their own juices, all of them. Now I go in for the pork. We have about the equal amount of pork as we do the beef. All right. Now, like any chili, we've got a couple of secret ingredients. I'm gonna add a little espresso into our chili. I'm gonna give it a good shot of espresso. I'm also gonna give it, when you're at a competition, you gotta have a little beer. So I got a nice amber beer. I'm gonna add it to my chili. So I'm gonna pour that around the outside and let that move all the way in. I'm also gonna add a hint of tequila, because you know, something about chili and tequila, they seem to just wanna go together. So I'm just gonna give it a little splash of tequila. Not too much, just a little hint of tequila. We're also gonna give it some agave, or you could give it sugar, either way. And I'm just gonna give it a big old splash. And what that does is that cuts some of the tomatoes that we have in there. And the tomatoes go in next. Let me just make sure I got all this moving around. Here we go. And I've got crushed tomatoes, all-purpose tomatoes, and you can pick any brand you like. Open the can, and you are ready to go. I'm also going to add at this point our enchilada sauce. Oh yeah, that adds great depth to it, our chili. As you can see, we're getting a great little concoction going. This has to take time. It takes at least 2 hours, maybe more. I'll actually leave it on the stove on a very low heat for up to 8 hours. And I might do it 3 hours, let it rest an hour, another 3 hours, and then maybe another 2 hours. That's an awful long time, but hey, it's so worth it. I'm gonna take some chili powder, dark red chili powder, and put in as much as you like or as little as you like, because that adds a whole lot of heat to it and a whole lot of color too. So we're gonna let this stir and let this go. Now, I have one other ingredient up here, and this is it's a fine milled corn flour, harina, which is really, really good. Adds some great nutty flavor to this, but I'm gonna wait till I cook this down a little bit to see if I even need it, because that will help thicken this if it is too thin. All right, so 2.5 hours later, I'm stirring the pot, and in here we have some extraordinary chili. We've got little chunks, big chunks of all kinds of meats and vegetables all melded in. It's got a deep, rich color, lots of fire. This is a great heat seeker, great for those heat seekers. What I'm gonna do is I'll plate this up now, and we'll show you how to plate up this great chili. And it's one of those beautiful things, plating up the chili. It's almost ceremonial. So we'll take some of this chili, put it right in the middle of our bowl. Bring it over. I like to garnish it with a little sour cream, especially if it's really hot like this one is. I'll put it right in the middle, and I'll add a little bit of cheese right around the edges. Somebody can blend in. This is a nice fontina cheese. Now, I did keep the top off this pot so that this could render down just a little bit. I'll garnish with a little cilantro right on top. And there, we have it. So this wraps up our tailgating. I've got this wonderful chili we can make in big batches. It can be served any time of the year. I've got the Stromboli, great sandwich, all made ahead of time. We've got this roasted red pepper, garlic, and a goat cheese dip, and it's calamari salad, light and refreshing. All this mixed in makes an outstanding tailgate. This was all made easy here at Guy T. Kunther Studio. And I want to thank our special guests, Alex Reethof, my wife, and Chef Shay Markwell. And hopefully you'll use these recipes in your next tailgate and be the hit and star of all the tailgates out there. I'm Chef Alex Reethof, bringing you back to the table.